Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Arthur Zhao, full-time real estate broker since 2014. Let's do a summary of 2024. What happened in Canada, the economics, the government policy, Toronto real estate data, also a view from myself. So on December 16th, the governor of Bank of Canada holding a meeting in BC. He mentioned we should learn from the past and also prepare for the future. So let's see what we could learn from 2024. The inflation rate. Inflation starting to drop since the beginning of the year, and we got the lowest inflation 2024 September for 1.6%. And then it goes up to 1.9 and 2%. It's well below the Bank of Canada target. But the unemployment rate is piling up. We got a 6.8% over the Canada, but in Ontario, it's even higher to a 7.2%. Okay. And starting January 2024, we got higher and higher. And if you go back to January 2023, we only got 5%, okay, which dropped from the COVID. It's not bad. Hopefully, we could see that number next year. Also, for the GDP, for the third quarter, the GDP number is not that good, but for the fourth quarter, it looks okay. So let's see what happened to the fourth quarter data and what will be happening in the next year. And you'll see that our currency is compared to US dropped really a lot, okay? We don't have a good economics and we dropped rate more in 2024, especially in October and December, we dropped half percent each time. Right now we have 3.25, and for sure next year will be lower. But let's recall the end of 2023. Bank of Canada and CMHC, they predict rate drop for 2026 is below 3%. Right now, they really dropped a lot. Okay, what that means? First of all, yeah, the inflation is flat right now, but we have a really high unemployment rate. Like nobody is spending their money. Like that's why Bank of Canada, they need to boost the economy. Okay. And also the population growth in 2024, we still have 485,000, which is on target. But the new government policy by the end of this year, so the next year target is much less, and even 2026. But next, we're going to see what will happen to the different parties. So hopefully we could get the number down next year. And everybody is seeing the mortgage rate, right? So but for the fixed rate, we're going by the 5-year bond, which we got the lowest in September and October. We've seen some really good interest rate around 4%, but by the end of the year, we're going up to around 4.5. Also, the variable rate is still high, even if we drop 1.2% already. Okay, so for the buyers, that's still not that much affordable. For the investors, still nobody is interested in buying, okay, with that rate. So this video is from the end of 2023. What he said is before Trudeau, there was affordable housing. After Trudeau, there will be affordable housing, but I don't think that would achieve easily, okay, with the government spending right now. And I don't think he's gonna cut lots of tax, but we'll see. We'll see if he'll be in charge next year. Also, we all know we don't have HSTs for a few weeks. So I believe it's really good. Like I can buy lots of toys without HST. I can go to groceries, like drinks. I believe lots of people are taking advantage of this. Like you can see the Costco, LCBO, people are lining up buying things. Starting 2024, we have increased the carbon tax. Okay, that's why the gas price is going up. Hopefully, we could get the carbon tax gone by the end of next year, or at least lower, right? And strikes. Okay, we all been through kind of post strikes, and luckily, government saying, okay, you cannot do this forever, but we will see this next year in May, most likely. The TDC got their new agreement, and I believe there will be more next year. So there's lots of policy changes this year, especially in second half of this year. For student permit, for work permit, there's lots of things changed. And actually, since 2023, they already cut the permit for student. So we will see less international students coming in, and we'll see probably less students getting their work permit. And I'm not sure if this is good or bad. It's good for local people to get their jobs, and I don't know about this. Leave a comment below. And in still a non-Canadians Act, okay? So it extends to 2027. They changed some policies around the working permit and student visa, but not many people can buy because there's still high non-resident tax. Okay, so I don't think they can change this, okay, for the next 2-3 years. But the big part is the capital gain. Okay, it's really, I think it's really hurt the corporations to increase to almost 6-7%, and for the people who get the capital gains over 250,000 for the portion, they need to pay almost 6-7%. I believe this is one of the reasons in September we have tons of listing on the market. Some people trying to sell before this policy started, and then they can save some money. Okay. And we see another case for Airbnb, the short-term rental gets charged by CRA for 13% tax. Right? That means like the government CRA, they all want short-term rental toward the long-term rental. And the Bill 23, okay, everybody hear the news. The goal to build 1.5 million homes by the end of 2031. Like personally, I don't think we can achieve that. Okay, by many reasons, I can explain that later. Okay. Also, Toronto increased their vacancy tax, so at least like they don't want people leave the unit vacant. I have lots of clients. They still leave their unit occupied when we have 1% vacancy tax rate. I think it really works, okay? Because it's 1% by current value assessment. It's bought not by market price. So still lots of people, they don't want tenant living in their unit. They don't want to go short rental, and like they are afraid of the tenant are not leaving, even if they pay the tenant. So there are really bad cases happened. But this year, when I think start next year, okay, when the tenant doesn't pay their rent, like the record will goes on their credit, and the landlord-tenant board will faster their process for the cases. I think the landlord will have more confidence next year. So one, okay, let's talk about development charge. 30% of the profit goes to the government whenever people want to build a condo unit in Toronto. And starting this year, one cut their development charges really a lot. Okay, hopefully the other cities, municipalities will follow. But we have a really funny paper, like the government issued that, like saying that even if they cut the DC, they think the builders won't pass that benefit to the buyers. Okay, might be, but we'll see. So the mortgage rules change a lot by the end of the year, especially for insured mortgage, which is the mortgage has less than 20% down payment. So the price cap increased from 1 million to 1.5 million. I believe this is really good indicators. Okay, like whenever government wants to change their mortgage policy, either they want to change it to a tighter situation in 2016, or they want to have more space to work with, and then they all start with the insured mortgage. Okay, so for the first time home buyers this year, they have another saving account tax free. Also, they extend the insured mortgage from 25 years to 30 years, right? And they lower the credit score requirement from 680 to 600. I believe this will bring some confidence to first-time home buyers starting next year. And also for the stress test change. Starting November 21st, for the people who renew their mortgage, if they want to switch the bank, they don't need stress test. So let's say the bank rate is 4%, they can go qualify the mortgage by 4%. They don't need to qualify by 6%, which is really good news for the people who renew next year, which we all heard is going to be a big issue next year. But I don't think it's going to be hurt Toronto real estate that bad for this one reason. I'll explain this later in next video when I do the 2025 prediction. So there's tons of regulations every year. One thing we should know, the building code is changing next year. I believe last time when they changed the building code, every time I do inspection for my client, and the inspector always says, oh, this is new building code. You have changed that, you have changed this. The seller said, okay, it has been there for many, many years. Then because of that, well, like there's lots of deals just falling apart. Also, we should take more care about the BC real estate or government policies. Sometimes the Ontario will just follow, okay? And let's talk about the TRAP data. So last year, they believe for this year, TRAP will have 77,000 sales. And the average price is 1.17 million. But in fact, we only have, let's say, probably 67,000 by the end of this year, which is still better than last year, but still it's far away from TRAP, which is Toronto Real Estate Board anticipate in February. So this year, February, let's see what they're anticipate for 2025. Hopefully 2025, we can get this number. Also, let's check this chart, okay? So the blue line, the light blue line is for detached house, and the green line is for condo apartment. You'll see the condo apartment price actually is pretty flat throughout the whole year. So January is 681 and November is 689. Okay, even if we compare to the peak in March or February 2022, the price is not dropped that much. What I mean is compared to, you see how much units on the market starting last year and this year, and there will be more unit on the market next year. So this price we kept really well. It's really surprised me, okay? For the detached, since we're getting better for the detached, let's see the active listings. Okay, active listings, September active listing really scared me when I see the data. Because there's tons of active listing on the market. So in August, actually things getting better in August. And like I mentioned, the capital gain tax rule maybe affect some sellers who want to sell before it takes in effect. And also some sellers, like I mentioned, the rate is still high, right? Like some people, they still cannot afford their mortgage increase. And also they see the fixed mortgage is going down at that time. They may think, okay, we are in a good month. Yeah, we see more sales in October, but starting this year, every month I'll do a monthly data summary. Okay, in October we still have really high inventory. That means by the end of this year, even if in January, I don't think it's gonna be a really hot market. Okay. Okay, let's go to the new home sales. Okay? New home completion. Next year, 2026, 2025, we still have tons of new home finished. I mean, condo apartment finished next year. So I don't think you're going to see a really good condo market in the next, probably not the next 2 years. At least next year, I think it's going to be just flat. You'll see the numbers, okay, for the new home sales. Single family sales getting better, 32% up from November 2023, but still 45% from 10-year average. And for the apartment, it's 90% lower from 10-year average, which 249, right? You see 2021. That's why like in 2025, 2026, there's still new completion, and plus the ones delayed from before, so we will have tons of new condos finished next year. And the price is dropping as well for the new ones. And also I'm checking the commercial data. By the end of the year, especially starting second half of the year, I receive lots of calls from our agents asking about commercial leasing, commercial sale. You can see the commercial leasing number is getting up, right? And the commercial rent is going up, but the industrial is going down and the office rent is going up. This chart is new this year from Trap Data. You can check how many percent of the listings are sold above the price in 2022, where the peak is 83%. So starting 2023 and 2024, we never see that number, right? Like it's always more balanced. Even if at the beginning of 2023, the price going up a lot, but still, okay. At that time, I don't think the price is going up that high. It's because feels like still lots of sold price is below asking. Especially started this year, right? Like most of the listings are sold below asking. And from the national point of view, we have a really good year. Not a super good year, but a really good year. The price is going up, the sales is going up, and for some provinces, for some areas, they get their peak all time, such as in Alberta, such as in Quebec. Okay, the other provinces' house price, I believe, would affect Toronto real estate market somehow. Like people are moving around, right? Like if their price is getting higher and higher, and Toronto price is flat or getting lower, eventually, like lots of people would coming back to Toronto. Of course, we have the most of the job opportunities in Canada in Toronto. So in November, the Toronto real estate, I mean the Ontario increase, it's not that high, right? And let's see the Korea data. So we are above 10-year average. I believe next year will be higher again. Like I mentioned, it's much better than 2024. If you are interested in this chart, I think there's a really good YouTuber. They'll summarize this every month, but I'll go over this every month myself as well. So for the trap data, you can see here, 2024 is the orange bar, and we getting much better sales compared to last year, but we have more new listings, and also the sell to new listing ratio is getting higher, which is good. But we have to see the December data. If we are getting over, let's say, over 60% sell to new listing ratio, we're gonna get a really good year starting next year. Okay. But I don't think before summer will be a really big increase, but let's see. So for myself, this year, it's not my best year, but overall, it's still good. Like lots of listings sold, and I help my client buy as well. But for lots of realtors, it's not that good. Okay, since 2016, we have a member declined year over year, which means there's more realtors quit. Like every year, at least like 50% of the realtors, they cannot get one deal. This year, probably even higher. And it's because like for the slower years, we have our transactions are really low, and the average purchase time is really long. Like buyers, it's not they are not that motivated. Sometimes like by the rate, sometimes by afraid of the market. Like myself, the average buyer working with me is 2 months this year. Right, the longest buyer worked with me for 6 months before they purchase their home. And this year, I have the most listing on the market at the same time, around 13 listings in summer. Okay? Most of them are sold. Still, some of them are not sold, like the condos, like the high-end 3-4 million houses. Okay? But some of the sellers say, okay, let's wait for next year. Some of them just say, okay, let's not sell. Like, let's see what happens next year. And I manage lots of condos, like 40 condos in GTA area. At least most of my clients, they're not rushed to sell their condos. Like most of my clients sold their condos is because they want to buy a townhouse, they want to buy a house starting next year. Right? Also, for me, this year is a really good year because clients are taking time choosing their realtors. They are taking time interview realtors. Right? They're not like randomly choosing their friend as their realtor to buy, to sell. They're not picking like lower commission realtors because like this year, it takes time. The average days on market is around 40 days. So lots of realtors, like they are in a bad time, like they won't get a deal. That's why they know it's really hard to sell. That's why they're not offering lower commission. So the cost for the sellers this year is really high. But for me, you guys can see my designations. You guys can see my experience. It's really not a bad year, at least. Okay, I'll do more videos starting next year. I'll update my posts, my ideas on X more often as well, such as about the mortgage rate, the inflations. It's in Chinese right now, so I'll post more English in X starting next year about the market. If you have any questions, if you believe this video is helping you, please leave a comment below. Also, you can share to your friend. Let's see you in next video.